At what point will you finally realize that you can't do what everyone else is doing? That you can't do it how everyone else is doing it? When will you finally see that there are so many different variables between all of us? It doesn't mean that you can't do it, that you can't accomplish it. You just have to do it a different way. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the KimUnity Soulutions podcast, the only podcast that's inspiring leadership and humanity within and beyond the office walls. It is so good to be with you all. I am your host, Kim the SME, and today we're going to be talking about something that hit me. I already knew it, but it hit me. As you all know, SME stands for Speaker of My Experiences. Whenever you hear me speaking, it's going to be something that I've learned, that I've experienced, that I've heard. That's where it's coming from. And this time, it's about a recent conversation that I had with my cousin. We were talking about the different stages of life. And as we get older, there's certain things we can't do the same anymore. Not saying that we can't do it, but we can't do it the same anymore. And she was telling me about a conversation that she was having, and she really had to tell this person, and also after her own realization, she had to tell herself, we have to meet ourselves where we are. And I said, oh, cousin, that is so good. That is so good, because oftentimes we're trying to do what we used to do, the same way we used to do it when we're not them anymore. Yes, do it. Yes, go for it. Yes, plan for it. Yes, visualize it. But there is going to be a point where you have to make certain accommodations for yourself. Forget somebody else's race. We know we can't race someone else's race. We have to stay in our own lane. But what we fail to realize sometimes is we can't always be at the same pace that we used to be at. We have to plan differently. We have to make accommodations. And that is, when she said that's something that spoke to me, because it's true. Yes. Yes, there's so much on my agenda to complete. Whether we're going through a new season or a new year, I have plans. But my plan for this year coming up will not be the same as the one that has just left. We can't just go by what we are planning for. We have to look back and see, okay, what could I have done better? What doesn't work for me anymore? What did I figure out that I no longer like? Or you didn't like the output? I realized that all year, or for that season, I was meeting every deadline. You would think that's great, but for me, it put me behind, because I need to be in front of the deadline. Otherwise, I feel like I'm rushing. I'm always meeting the deadline. What I have realized is, going forward into my next season, I need to be ahead of my deadline. Whether it's weeks, whether it's months, I need to be ahead, because I don't want the rush. I don't want to have that pressure. Something that I am proud of myself is that I did automate a few things. And right now I'm speaking business-wise. I did put some things on autopilot. I have basically laid the foundation the way I want it. I have prepared myself by creating a foundation of my baseline. So now when this next season comes, I am prepared to propel. And I want you all to really just take notice of what has transpired for you over these last few months. What went well? What didn't? What could have been prevented? What could you have better planned for? What happened, transpired that you should have seen coming? What's something you will no longer allow? Are you asking yourself this? There has to be some kind of self-evaluation before you just start making plans for what's coming next. There should be some kind of adjustments. There's something that you planned on achieving that you didn't do. What is that? Why didn't you achieve it? What's something that caught you blindsided? What's something you weren't prepared for? What's something that you didn't plan for correctly? Again, my cousin's quote is, meet yourself where you are at. Meet yourself where you are at. Yes, you may be accomplishing all the goals that you planned on it, but is it running smoothly? Or are you running the same schedule that you were running when your children were in high school or elementary school? When now you don't have to worry about the pickup and the drop off, but your schedule is still allowing that same time frame. You know that once the day starts and you get going, you're not going to have time to work out. Should you be trying to move that workout session to the morning to where there's no interruptions? I keep getting into the camera because I'm really like into this right now. Meet yourself where you are at. Meet yourself where you are at. Yes, you want to lose weight. Yes, you planned on losing weight, but it didn't happen. Because why? Have you changed your grocery list? Have you changed your recipes, your dinner plans? Are you planning ahead? And I know you hear this. You see me? Like I said, I'm meeting the deadline. Here it is. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but there's shots going off. There's fireworks going off because the new year is about to be here and I'm about to meet the deadline. And no longer am I waiting to meet the deadline. We have to move smarter. And for goals, if you all haven't heard of it, there's SMART goals. And the two most important ones are, is it realistic and is it achievable? Are the plans you're making realistic? How detailed are you making them? Are they achievable? You want to run a marathon, but what do you have to do to get prepared? Once you start moving up into that different age bracket, what kind of certain accommodations are you needing? Do you need to warm that knee up? That knee isn't as flexible as it used to be. Are you taking your medication? Before you start writing down all these plans, what is your health looking like? That's going to determine what you're going to be prepared for. Meet yourself where you are at. I have to put everything in my calendar or I will forget. I have to put everything in my calendar or I will forget. I am meeting myself where I'm at. I can't do what everyone else is doing. I can't say, okay, on the 13th, I'll be there. And then I'll actually be there. I can't rely on myself to wait until I get home to make a note of it. There's some things that I have to do right now in that instance. I will get a call from my mother and she will ask me, did you ever do this thing I asked you to do? It's like, oh, Mom, I forgot. Then she'll ask me the next time. It's because I'm having a casual conversation and I'm not writing anything down. But I know that I need to write it down if I am going to remember. I have a to-do list. Even if I just text myself so that I can remember and put it in my notes later. We have to meet ourselves where we are at. Maybe you can't drink like you used to drink. You can't drink at 9, 10 o'clock and expect to be up and ready for work the next day. You might have to drink on brunch so you'll be ready for the next day. It's okay. Number one, we have to acknowledge where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, where we have room for improvement, and what our limitations are. And once we have that dialed in and put in perspective, we can then plan accordingly. I want us all to position ourselves to succeed. Are you positioning yourself to succeed? Or are you setting yourself up for failure? I keep getting close into this camera again. I want us all to win. I want us all to win. What are you prepared to do in order to do so? You have to get honest with yourself. You got to quit lying to yourself. 52 Mondays have passed, and you still haven't done what you said you were going to do next Monday. Are you creating systems? I have an accountability call that I'm on every morning at 6 o'clock. I should be on every morning at 6 o'clock. And that was part of my system. I told myself that I will take this call in the garage where my gym is. Because I'm on the call, I know everyone else in the house is asleep, so I go in the garage so that I'm not disturbing anyone. And there, when I get off of that call, I am already in the position to work out. I created a system. Did I follow it? No. Sometimes I would say it's too cold or next Monday. What kind of systems are you creating for success? Are you getting enough sleep so that when the time comes to handle your responsibilities, you're not too tired? You're not saying, no, I need to go and get back in the bed, which is what I was doing as well. Because again, I'm meeting deadlines. And so even if I'm up at 12 o'clock, I end up being up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning to get something done to meet the deadline. Now I have exhausted myself for the next day's activity. That is not a success system. That's a setup for failure. Meet yourself where you are at. As we approach this new season, as we approach this new year, think about that. And you don't have to have everything all planned out January 1 on the first of the month, the first of the year, whenever it is. But you do need to sit down and create a plan. Just because you start on the first doesn't mean you're guaranteed for success. If you know family are coming in town and you guys are vacationing, you're going to be eating out and all this other stuff, and you know that there's going to be, you know you're not going to be mentally prepared to eat healthy. Why start then? Because then you'll be setting yourself up. Now you'll have regrets. Then here comes the Mondays. I said at the very beginning that we can't do what everyone else is doing. We can't do how everyone else is doing it. We can still achieve those same goals. Don't get me wrong. But we may have to change some things around. And that is okay. Maybe you don't sleep the same anymore. Maybe you need to hang around different people. Like, who is your circle? What energy space are you in? Are you feeling drained when you're around these people? Because now you've been all year, you've been growing, you've been reading books, you've been going to seminars and webinars, but you're coming back to this same environment of people who are not elevating or coming up with new ideas. So it's almost as if you feel like you're pulling everybody along. And it's not a bad thing to want people to come along with you, but it's detrimental to yourself. Because now you're trying to grow and you're trying to pull somebody else with you. Meet yourself where you are. If you need to limit that time you're spending with someone, you need to limit that time. That's what it's going to take to get you to where you want to be. At what point will you start caring more about yourself than all of the people around you that you've been carrying and caring? At some point, you have to go after you. And that means figuring out what will make it work, figuring out what's not working, figuring out what can be improved, figuring out what no longer serves you, figuring out what needs to be eliminated, figuring out what needs to be separated, what needs to be weeded out, what needs to be rediscovered. When will you have some quiet time to be able to think about this? When will you put yourself first? We need to meet ourselves where we are. How long are you going to stay in denial? How long are you going to believe that you can do it all by yourself? What can be delegated now? What are you doing now that's out of habit, that no longer serves you? How many conferences are you going to go to that you haven't put in any action for? You're just going, you're registering, you're paying these dues, you're paying these fees. You're getting business cards, you're making contacts, but you're not reaching out. You're not sharing your goals, you're not sharing your plans, you're not putting anything to action. You're calling out on lunch. You're just being busy. This new season, let's work on being less busy and more productive. Less busy, more productive. That's my goal. Less busy, more productive. I found my circles. I have my foundation set. I know what I need to eliminate. I know what I need to improve upon. And I know that I have to start now. It's time to start now. I hope you have enjoyed this message. I hope that it has sparked something in you. I hope that you will be getting a list and writing down on there what you need to eliminate, what time you're most productive, what can you do while everyone else is asleep, what systems can you create that will hold you accountable. You know what else I did? I had to put my coffee pot away. I have my teapot on the counter now because I said I wanted to stop drinking so much coffee. I stopped for a while, but these past few, like over this week, I've probably had like 3 cups of coffee because I switched to cocoa. Eliminate, move it out of your eyesight. Replace the things that need to be removed with something else. I have tea in my teapot right now that I can refrigerate. In the morning, when I wake up, I will have tea prepared. Prepare yourself for greatness. That is how we will reach it. It's those small steps. It's preparation. Preparation to arrive at your destination. I am your host, Kim the SME. As always, I am only speaking from my experiences. I want us all to succeed. I want us all to prepare for our purpose and be ready for our destination. I want us all to be writing achievable goals and making sure we're putting action behind it, making sure that we are setting ourselves up to win. You know what else I did before I close this out? I realized, so what I did was, as far as eating healthier, I don't like the energy when I go to certain stores. So I've been going to the healthier stores. But what I found is I would make multiple trips and I was spending so much money at these grocery stores. I mean, I was just swiping away. It's not like, I'm not saying that, some people are buying Chanel bags and Gucci and all this other stuff. I've never been a name brand type of person. But what I found was that all of my money was going to a lot of these grocery stores because I was just swiping. And what I did these past 3 trips was take cash. I took cash because there's a certain amount that I'm trying to save. There's something that I'm trying to do. There's something that I'm trying to invest in. But I'm looking at my statements and I'm seeing all of the money I'm spending at health food, because going from a regular grocery store to the health food store, you're probably going to spend a little bit more anyway, unless you're just getting fruits and vegetables, right? But I started taking cash because I saw myself and I said, okay, this is getting out of hand. Yes, I want to eat better. I want to eat healthier, but I don't want to go broke. I need to be more mindful of what I am spending. So now I take cash with me. So now I realize I'm not spending as much. How much are you spending going out to eat? How much are you spending going out to eat? What are you eating when you eat out? How much would it cost for you to make it? Little things like that. If you've been going out 3-4 times a week to eat, and I'm including your coffees, I'm including your bagels, I'm including, your stops at Chipotle. You can make rice and beans. You have chicken in the refrigerator. You have sour cream. Why are you not creating your own bowls? That's another thing that I'm going to be doing. Not eating out as much. If I'm trying to save money and get healthy, that is a 2-in-1. You have to look at your patterns. Yes, I go out. That's a celebration. And I try to justify it because I say, okay, it's happy hour. I'm eating from the special, the lunch menu. But that's not good enough for where I'm trying to be. Take a good, hard look at yourself, who you are right now, and think about who you are trying to become. That person is already in you, but what does that transition look like? Are you doing right now what it takes to get there, or are you moving farther away from that? You need to be moving closer to your dreams. I know you know the song. I'll go ahead and close out now, but I want you to just think about, what can you change? Put some money to the side from your direct deposit into a bank account you can't touch. Start with $10. Once you start looking at it and see what's accumulated, then you'll put more. Then you can move it into the stock market. Whatever your plan is. I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that, but I am telling you to take action. No more excuses. Meet yourself where you are at. Until next time, you all be blessed. Bye-bye.